All right, gang. Got a nice Kamisha on. It's still a cold in the Netherlands, man. It's almost summer, and it's still like 15 degrees. Like, damn, But what can you do? You gotta accept the situation. You gotta trust that the weather will come. You gotta trust. You gotta trust. You gotta allow. You gotta feel. You gotta work with what is, man. You gotta work with whatever is. Lots of the pain, doesn't come from stuff actually happening to you, but it just comes from how you think about the things. So I've noticed, for example, let's use the weather as an example, that when it's a shitty day, or when it's cloudy, for weeks at a time, the more I fight against it, the clouds, the gray weather, the more pain, like internal pain, like and frustration that I feel. But as I just, teach myself to allow the weather as it is, and focus on other things, it doesn't feel that painful. It's just normal. It's just, oh yeah, it'll change. Like, it's not worth being so hung up about. And that t- tool of non-resistance is a fantastic and also um, eye-opening tool that you can apply to literally everything in life, and that will make your day so much better, and so much more peaceful, and yeah, you'll feel better, you'll think better things. At the end of the day, you'll feel more joy. There's lots of things happening in life. There's chaos, there's people doing things that we don't like, there's things not going the way that we want, or we have to redo that project for our work because our, our boss says, hey, got to change it, because the client says it, or and a traffic jam as you're going on vacation, or you're missing that airplane, or the bus doesn't show up, or your friend is half an hour late, or whatever. There's things happening in life that you didn't calculate to happen, and that you didn't choose to happen, and that you didn't want to happen. It's just how life works. You got 7 billion people with free will that are just doing things in all kinds of different directions. It's like it's gonna affect you. Like, you can't plan everything to be perfect. There's no control. There's the illusion of control. So there's always things going to happen that you don't want. And when they do, there's always a choice, right? Do I resist what is happening? Do I get frustrated or angry, worry? And do I go dark, or do I stay in the light? And do I accept? Do I allow? Do I trust that even though, things are not happening the way that I chose, that, the big picture is intact, the long term is intact, that, my happiness and joy and success is here and is on the way, right? Like, you always have that choice. And yeah, it just changes how you feel, how you act. It's not what happens, it's how you react to what happens. I noticed it. So I was working in this elderly care home the other week. And sometimes, people that live there, they scream or whatever, or they're like a bit aggressive. And the guy like I was working with, it was a bit of uh, uh, let's say a bit negative sometimes. And people would be like aggressive or would do things that he wouldn't like, and he would get so agitated about it. He would be like, oh man, these people, blah blah. And then it was lunch, and he was talking to the coworkers about all these things that like happen. He was actually talking about this guest who wanted a 27 sandwiches for breakfast, and it's just they were old, and so they probably didn't know what they were asking and didn't really want it. But he was getting so frustrated about it. He was talking to all these coworkers. 3 times I was hearing the same story, and it's just a nice example of resisting what is happening, and then becoming angry at what is happening, and then just filling your space, your thoughts, your feelings with more negativity. The moment of something not happening, it just becomes this catalyst, or actually you deciding not to think about that becomes this catalyst. um right, and you can stay in that positive space. You can say, hey, 27, it's a lot of sandwiches, but we're not going to do that, and then you laugh about it and you continue on. And same with things like a train that you miss, and you miss an important meeting. Yeah, it sucks, and you didn't want it, but you can choose in that moment. Do I go dark, or do I stay positive? Do I trust that my long-term success and happiness is intact? And your long-term success and happiness and joy is never dependent on those single moments, unless you make it to be, right? Unless you get frustrated each time, and then your long term starts to get affected. But you know, there's always going to be new opportunities, and if you stay in that positive space, then you're going to attract more opportunities, more things that you exactly need, and that are right for you. As long as you just stay in that space. It doesn't mean that you can't get frustrated. I get frustrated when I miss a train, or when you know people sometimes say stuff, and you get angry. You feel yourself getting angry, but that's just conditioning. That's just what we're taught in our system, and because also we're worried. We're not taught to trust that whatever happens, things will happen okay, and we're worried, and the whole society worries. Parents worry, teachers worry, and they get stressed out. So it's normal that we feel that way. But once we learn that that's not really a good solution, then that we can change. And the tool is really about non-resistance. So it's about allowing the river of life to take you, right? And to enjoy the ride, and to trust that this river is a good river, a loving river, and that the river is blessed by source, and um, is kind, and will bring you to exactly where you need to go, even though in the middle there are painful experiences that we come across, that um, are also there for a reason. It's not that life will be rid of any darkness. There's gonna be trauma that gets triggered, and there's gonna be learning experiences that you come across, which you need, which your soul chose in this life to get an opportunity to heal those things, and and to learn. Pain is going to be part of that process, but also to that, you can move with non-resistance and with a sense of curiosity, that, oh, hey, if something is happening here now for a reason, and um, I'm going to hold my judgment, and I'm going to feel all these feelings that it triggers, and I'm going to discover what's here. And the non-resistance does not mean that you don't have anything negative. It's going to be part of that, but non-resistance is more like an attitude of how you deal with the things that you don't like, the things that are uncomfortable, and yeah, and it's okay to feel resistance, but then you can just tell yourself, okay, no, we allow, we trust, and when you do, life will, feel a lot more magical and pleasant.